For reviews, interviews and your daily film picks, click the bell icon and subscribe to Film Companion South now.
Welcome to Film Companion South, and today we'll be looking at a film called Saani Kaayidham. I got up at 5 a.m. in the morning to see this film and I could not stop it. It was just brilliant. At last I thought there is a Tamil film which is worthy of the best international recognition. Arun Matheswaran, the director of the film, has given us a film which is mesmerizing and packed with layers of narration rarely witnessed before. I feel that this film combines the energies of many films. Top on the list would be Subramaniapuram by Sashi Kumar, Nandalala by Mishkin, Asuran by Vetrimaran, Pitamagan by Bala, and many more such pioneers. The narrative is, of course, strongly influenced by Aranyakandam and Super Deluxe by Kumararaja Tyagarajan, with whom Matheswaran has worked before. The film is also a tribute to the slow cinema traditions set by masters such as Kim Ki-duk from South Korea, Pav Kilovsky from Poland, and Min Liang-xiang from Taiwan. And I somehow feel the title of the film is a tribute to Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. And in this film, it translates as Pulp Document. Last but not the least, this film has deep influences of the venerable poet Subramanya Bharati and his fantastic drama poem called Panchali Shabadam, a work dedicated to the tragedy of Draupadi in the Mahabharata. A very important line in this drama poem goes as, Yeridharal Konduvada Annanan Kaiyai Pusukkuvom. Draupadi, when she is humiliated in the court of the Kauravas over a game of dice, she shouts out to Bhima, asking him to bring the flaming torch with which she could burn the hands of Yudhishthira, the so-called Dharmaraja, who had the audacity of gambling her body away in a game of dice. This rape of Draupadi, or Ponni, in this film, played brilliantly by Keerthy Suresh, is the central theme of Saani Kaayidham. If the Mahabharata centered around who should be the owners of the kingdom of Indraprastha, the conflict in this film starts with a dispute over the inheritance and ownership of property between two brothers. And into this conflict is poor Ponni dragged because of the stupidity of her drunken husband. I must tell you that I have probably seen so many poor women, all of them brought to the streets because of drunken husbands, and they are unable to do anything about it. And I saw this film and I said, this film cries out for these people. Ponni represents modern India, employed as a police constable who has to face the arrogance of the feudal landlords in the hinterlands of Tamil Nadu. And this brings us deeply to introspect. Is the feudalism and legacies of the arrogant landlords, have they really left India? I am sure young filmmakers like Matheswaran must have encountered so many film producers and distributors who behave with such authority that it can destroy the confidence of these youngsters. Coming back to the film, Ponni's help comes from her long-lost brother, Sangayya, played by Selvaraghavan. Who is he representing? If you go back to the name, it is Krishna, the person who is always imagined with the shankha or the conch in his hand. And therefore, he is aptly called Sankayya. And like the famous charioteer in the Mahabharata epic, he is also driving a rusty old matador van. So, the narrative presents itself as what happens when Draupadi and Krishna get together to fight the warring feudals. What makes the film so different from the other recent anger revenge films that we saw, like Pushpa and KGF 2, which are so toxic? The characters in this mythical story is not dependent on an inexhaustible supply of weaponry. It is not dependent on heavy-duty computer graphics and pyrotechnics. The heroes of Saani Kaayidham are raw, vulnerable human beings like you and me, breathing the same oxygen. The only difference, unlike most of us who are watching this film in reasonable comfort, these characters are trapped in a dystopic, self-destructive social framework. Something which echoes the kinds of things that are happening today between Russia and Ukraine and so many other countries. They are all so self-destructive at this moment. Ponni is therefore trapped in a corrupt and cruel police legal system. While Sangaya has to play out his curse bestowed on him by his impoverished family, what certainly stands out throughout the film as a design principle is the pathetic poverty of our Tamil rural landscape. It is so bleak. Even the so-called landlords live in abysmal conditions, drinking their days and nights out. And all of this is brilliantly captured by Yamini Yagnamurthy with an amazing self-confidence. What a cinematographer. Boldly experimenting with black and white, focus shifting, and some amazing long single takes. The music track by Sam C.S. is one of the most original soundtracks ever composed. And what a relief to see a film with no songs to amplify the emotional arcs of these characters. Thank God there are no item songs in this film and closing songs. And that brings me to the splendid performance by Selvaraghavan as Sangaya and Keerthy Suresh as Ponni. Both of them seem to have ingested their roles in totality and blended with the locations involved in amazing manners, be it in the arid sea coastal lands near Kadalur or in the temporary cinema theatre tents. They blend into it like a perfectly fitting glove. The fight out in the street, abutting a temple as edited by Naguran Ramachandran, will be etched in my memory forever. Simply brilliant. Arun Matheswaran's screenplay and direction is so deeply layered that I am sure it will require one or two more viewings to capture the intrinsic essence of what he has thought and worked through. If only Tamil filmmakers were existing and working in a more encouraging and internationally committed production system, I can guarantee you, this film could have been the opening film in the India celebration slotted in this year's Cannes Film Festival starting 17th May. But alas, we need to be content to watch it on a TV. And sadly, many of them will be actually watching them on a mobile phone. To end this on a happy note, I was delighted to know that our young cinematographer Yamini is now married to Vijay Karthik, the cinematographer of the ingenious film we saw last week, Kaathu Vaakula Rendu Kaadhal. And may I take this opportunity to bless these two with a long, creative life, breathing fresh doses of oxygen into world cinema. Thank you so much.